Have you ever felt it? That cold certainty you've gone too far, made a mess so big, no apology could fix it. You stand on the far side of a burned bridge, convinced you're too broken for forgiveness. Shame whispers that you're beyond hope, that love has finally run out. We believe we deserve exile, that our banishment is the only logical outcome, but what if that voice is a liar? What if grace is bigger than our mistakes? The very place you feel most lost is where hope begins its work. There's an ancient story, a parable Jesus told for anyone who's ever felt the crushing weight of regret. It's a window into God's heart, a heart that runs to meet us, even when we're still far off. Through this story, we discover the point of no return doesn't exist in heaven's vocabulary. Let's see what happens when shame meets relentless love. Leo, restless and hungry for more, demanded his inheritance from his father. His father, heartbroken, gave it to him without protest. Leo vanished into the city, chasing every thrill money could buy. Penthouse views, wild parties, new friends. He tried to fill a growing emptiness with luxury and excitement, but the more he spent, the emptier he felt. Calls from home became reminders of what he'd left behind, so he stopped answering. He told himself he was too busy, but really, he was too ashamed. The city's glitter faded, and Leo was left running from the quiet truth. He was lost, and he didn't know how to stop. The illusion of control was slipping. The farther he ran, the more he realized he couldn't outrun himself. He was building a kingdom of sand, and the tide was coming in. The calls from his father piled up, unheard. Leo was alone, and he didn't even know what he was running from. Leo's downfall wasn't sudden, it was a slow unraveling. Bad investments, reckless spending, and fading friends left him broke and alone. He sold his car, his watches, and finally moved into a cramped apartment. Dishwashing at a greasy diner replaced his high life. His hands grew raw, his spirit numb. Invisible and forgotten, he hit bottom in a rain-soaked alley, hungry and desperate. He remembered his father's house, how even the hired hands had food and warmth. Regret crashed over him. He'd traded love for loneliness, honor for humiliation. He saw his father's sad eyes in his mind, and for the first time he understood. He'd squandered not just money but love. He believed he deserved this misery. Yet in the pit of despair, a fragile hope emerged. What if he could go back, not as a son, but as a servant? Maybe mercy was still possible. Maybe home wasn't as far as he thought. With nothing left to lose, Leo decided to try. Leo's story echoes a parable Jesus told. A son demands his inheritance, leaves home and wastes everything in reckless living. When famine hits, he's left feeding pigs, hungry, humiliated, and alone. For a Jewish man, feeding pigs was the lowest of the low. In the filth, he comes to his senses, remembering his father's house and the servants who never went hungry. He realizes the freedom he chased was a lie. True life was back home. He prepares a humble speech. "Father, I've sinned. I'm not worthy to be your son. Make me a servant." He expects nothing but a job, just enough mercy to survive. With shame heavy on his shoulders, he begins the long walk home. He's not hoping for restoration, just a place to belong. Every step is a reminder of his failure. But he keeps walking, driven by the faint hope that grace might still be possible. The journey home is uncertain, but it's the only way forward. Sometimes the first step is the hardest. Here's where the story turns. The son is still far off, rehearsing his apology, bracing for rejection. But his father sees him on the horizon, and runs. The father doesn't wait for explanations or apologies. He sprints undignified to embrace his lost child. The son starts his speech. "Father, I've sinned." But the father interrupts. He doesn't let him finish, because in his eyes the son never stopped being family. The father calls for the best robe, a ring, sandals, and a feast. Each gift restores honor, authority, and freedom. The fattened calf is slaughtered. The whole community is invited to celebrate. This isn't grudging forgiveness, it's a joyful, lavish restoration. The father's love is extravagant, unconditional, and immediate. He doesn't negotiate, he celebrates. The son's shame is swallowed up in the father's embrace. The party isn't for a servant, it's for a beloved child finally home. This is what grace looks like. The son came home expecting a transaction work for forgiveness, earn his place. But the father's love was never about earning, it was always a gift. No probation, no conditions, no bill for the wasted inheritance. The son brought nothing but regret, and that was enough. Grace meets us in our mess, not our perfection. We often try to bargain with God, thinking we must prove ourselves worthy, but the parable shatters that illusion. The Father's welcome is triggered by love, not our performance. Grace is for the undeserving, always. The Father's joy isn't in the Son's promises, but in His presence. He loves us as we are, not as we wish we were. That love is what changes everything. Where are you in this story? Maybe you're in the far country, chasing empty dreams, weighed down by regret. Maybe you're on the road home, rehearsing apologies, fearing rejection. The story is for you. A personal invitation from the heart of God. He's not waiting for you to clean up your act. He's watching, longing, ready to run and embrace you. Don't believe the lie that you're too far gone. The robe, the ring, the celebration. They're waiting. All it takes is one step toward home. You don't need perfect words or offerings, just your honest, weary heart. The road home is always open. The Father is always waiting. Will you let him welcome you home?